this is your girl, Serena Elise, and this is Bitch Let's Talk. So, Mother's Day is actually on its way. So, happy Mother's Day to all the women out there. We appreciate you, and you all are valuable queens. And this episode is extremely special because there's 3 generations in this room. I have my wonderful mother, Miss Lisa Walker. You speak, ma.
Hello.
And my wonderful grandmother, who's hilarious, Miss Julia Bright.
Hi, everyone.
So I wanted to do something really special because I am very blessed to be able to sit with my mother and my grandmother. A lot of people, unfortunately, do not have the privilege anymore to be able to sit in the same room and discuss the history and the good times and the bad times. So I'm very honored to be able to do this. And I know that I was a handful. So I want to first say Happy Mother's Day to both of y'all, because without y'all, I wouldn't be here. But I want to just talk about womanhood and motherhood and what that entailed for you, because I know it wasn't necessarily easy. So how did you embrace motherhood?
Wow, that's a big question. Well, first of all, when I was pregnant, I didn't even know I was pregnant for 4 months. So I didn't really, I embraced it suddenly. I realized it when I was in the military on a mission. I was a truck driver changing the truck tires. And my buddy, she said, "Lisa, you looking a little thick." What are you talking about? And I said, she said, mm-mm. Now, mind you, everything was going on as normal, so I didn't suspect anything, but I did notice or felt some changes in my body, especially when I picked up that tire. So when we came off the mission, I did go to the doctor, and voila.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yes. So that was about 4.5 months at that time.
Wow. That's a long time.
It is a long time. So.
Did she pass out?
Almost. But I didn't, because I'm thinking of all the things I was doing for the first 4 months that I probably shouldn't have been doing. So I became suddenly concerned, as far as physical stuff. So motherhood is a scary feeling when you first find out you're going to be a mother for the first time. So you want to do everything right. You don't know once the baby gets here what type of mother you're going to be. You don't know what to expect. So, always been spiritual, so I had to pray about it because I didn't know what to expect. And then when my bouncing baby little girl came with her round cheeks and chinky eyes, and somebody thought it was somebody else's baby.
I still might be.
I don't think so.
Me a DNA test, I still might be. It might be an Asian man. Maybe my dad's not.
Well, you look just like your dad. And I had you, so I don't think there was any error there. But we were expecting a boy back then. I didn't want to know. They can tell you the sex of the child, but I didn't want to know.
Oh,
so
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I want to be surprised, and we were surprised.
So when did you find out? Like when you gave birth?
When I gave birth.
Oh no.
He said, it's a girl. It's like, oh, wow.
What would my name would have been if I was a boy? Did you know?
Was it Alex? Something your dad named. I don't know. He names you your middle name, which I didn't agree with. I was a little unconscious, so. But I think because he wanted a boy, he treated you like
I know a boy.
Son.
Yeah, I know. He did.
She's a little rough. So I think that's an ongoing process, motherhood. Because it changes, goes through phases at the baby. And you got to be real careful with the baby. And, every time she calls, every time she turns pink, every time, something goes on, like, I want to make sure everything was right. Yes, she was spoiled. She was a beautiful baby with a lot of attitude, a lot of personality.
I get that from Grandma. Grandma, what would you say motherhood was like for you when you first found out?
Well, it wasn't something I was looking forward to and trying to do.
Okay.
But since it came about it, you have to adjust yourself to it. And you wonder, are you able to do the job that you need to do? How are you going to take care of a child? What are you going to do with it? And so you have a lot of ifs there. And you don't feel too sure of yourself. And you never feel quite sure that you're doing quite the right thing for your children. You think, well, I should be doing this, or I should be doing that. And then when really what you need to be doing is just love them. But at that time, you don't understand that. You think that a lot of material things that you won't be able to give them, so you won't be the right kind of mother, which is wrong also, because if you love your children, you're a good mother. Be a good mother to them. So I really wasn't trying to have a baby. I mean, it wasn't my dream. That wasn't my dream then.
You did want children, though, right?
Yeah, eventually. But it was just at some time, children come at the wrong time. And they come on their right time, but it's the wrong time for you because you're not mature enough sometimes to take care of babies. And when you're young and have children, you never quite feel that you're living up to what you need to be living up to. Are you doing the right thing for this baby, raising it so the baby will be somebody in life, or you set something in life for this child and you see their future, what you want it to be. And then when it doesn't turn out that way, you feel very disappointed and start to blame yourself for something you did not do right. It was something you did wrong because this didn't turn out right. And so sometimes you have to stop and think that sometimes children have a way of their own of what they want in life. And sometimes they have to experience their own things in life and don't necessarily have to be the way you want things to be. So you just train your child, pray for them, and then you do a lot of praying for yourself too, that you will be the kind of parent that this child needs. So parenthood is not an easy thing. You have to accept the things that you don't want to accept. You have to love the things that you don't want to love. And you have to say things that you don't necessarily want to say to this person who's a child that you love growing up. But if you really love your child, you will do it.
Right.
Because if you don't, then you don't love your child. You do the right thing for that child and show that love for them. Letting a child be spoiled and have his own way and never doing what you're supposed to do, you're not doing your child any good. You have to be there in that child's life to train up a child, as the Bible said, in the way it should go. And that's what you have to do.
So how do you think motherhood matured you, since both came unexpectedly, both pregnancies for, you and my mom? How quickly did you mature?
Instantly.
I was going to say right at the moment the children said.
When the doctor said yes.
You don't have any other choice but to mature, because this is your child, and you don't get a choice.
Yeah.
You just become a mother. Whatever that entails, that's what you become.
And it grows, because like she said in the beginning, you're so unsure, but you got to do something. I got this responsibility. This is what I'm going to have to do. But you learn as you mature. It's an ongoing process. So.
And then you have your own parents. See, you never forget your parents, how would they stand in that child's life and how they stand by you to teach you. I had my grandmother used to talk to me. And and told me what it meant to have a child and how to raise a child and all. So it just goes down from one generation to another. They just seem to have that knowledge of how to do this, and they just pass that knowledge on to you.
So what do you think the biggest fear is dealing with motherhood?
Feeling like you fail.
Yeah.
If the child doesn't meet your expectations, or even though that's not right to do because they have to meet their own expectation. Yeah, I guess you still want your child to be successful and healthy, and prosperous. They want to have a full life. Want your child to have a full life. And as she says, you still have a sense of guilt if things don't go the way you think they should go.
So how do you create your expectations? Is it based off of your own past, or is something that you see what your child is good at and you just create your own list of expectations? How do you create that list of how you want the perfect child, essentially?
Well, you want a child that's obedient, which I didn't get.
You must be talking about your son.
Well, he was the first one.
You must be talking about.
You want your child to be obedient. You see the child, and you have a picture of your child being somebody, a doctor, a lawyer. I always pictured my son is going to military school and have this nice little neat uniform on and be looking cute in his nice little military uniform. Well, it wasn't. It didn't work out that way.
Right.
It didn't work out that way. But you have expectations for your children. But I've learned the hard way. They have to have expectations for themselves. Otherwise, it doesn't mean anything. A lot of parents blame themselves for the way their children turn out. What could I have done? I didn't do this right. If I had done this would have been. It's nothing the parent can do. A lot of the responsibility rests on that person who they want to be.
Right.
And I had great desires for my children. I still do. Some lived up to them and some didn't. But it's their lives now. But I don't see you saying that, people say, oh, I'm so happy to have a child. And that's good. See, there's some people who are very happy to have children. And
He was?
Yeah, I was happy to have them. I was happy to have them. But when you have children when you're very young, it's a different feeling when you're mature and old enough to take care of a child. When your family has to be the one to help you raise your child, you don't feel too happy of it because they don't let you forget it. But they don't let you forget it. So you always facing that, and you start to make decisions that I'm doing this for my child. This is best for my child. You learn in some very hard lessons to learn what's best for someone else.
Yeah. So how was it like breaking the news, to your parents? Did you and what was the feeling? Did you feel embarrassed or excited? Were you scared?
I was frightened. Well, we weren't married, me and your father. We were together and had planned on getting married. That was our intentions. But still was getting some things worked out. It wasn't time, but of course, whatever the Lord says time for that child, that's what the time. But when I mentioned it to Mrs. Bright, I'm trying to get a visual. Her face was like she just seen 10 ghosts. It's like Mom, she's like, really? And give her congratulations. It was just okay. Now what you gonna do? So, but she the one spoiled me the most once she got here. She loved her, and it grew on her.
Yeah.
She needed some adjustment time.
Grandma, you had to adjust?
I think when something like that happens and you have a child, you have different aspirations for them. And something like this happens. Yes, it is a time of adjustment.
Yeah.
It's a time when you have to stop and think, what is best? What do I do now?
Mm-hmm.
How can I correct this problem? Or can we make some good come out of this?
Right.
I don't think any mother likes to hear that a young daughter is pregnant and no husband and no means of taking care of the child, or you just having a baby. And in my time, when a girl had a baby, I mean, that was the worst disgrace you could bring on your family.
Mm.
It had a great effect on your family. Your family didn't want to have anything to do with you or talk to you or anything because you had committed this great crime of having a baby out of wedlock. Nowadays it's different. They have baby showers and welcome the baby, But in my time, it wasn't that way. It was a shameful thing for your family.
Mm-hmm.
Some families, they would take their girls and send them down south. And they would stay down there the whole pregnancy. Then she would come back up and she'd had this baby. That was Aunt so-and-so's baby that she brought back home with her. They wouldn't say it was the girl's baby.
Mm-hmm.
So in my day, it wasn't a thing that you announce to people. Your families kept it hidden as long as they could because they were embarrassed that their daughter was having a baby and she wasn't married.
Yeah.
But nowadays, they give big baby showers and, and big how-to-dos and all that. But in my day, it wasn't that way. It was embarrassment for the whole family.
So you had to hide
the
baby, the pregnancy, everything.
You had to hide all of that. In some way, they would hide it. As I said, they send the girl down south to the aunt, uncle, anybody down there, and she'd come back with this baby. But that was Aunt so-and-so's baby. It was never her baby. And you hear cases now where people find out it's their daughters had, they thought that who they thought were their mother wasn't their mother.
Yeah. That's pretty traumatizing.
Yeah. So it's a thing, but you still love your children. It doesn't make you not like your children. You still want the best for them. Mm-hmm. You love them, and you want them to do the right thing, but you try to live beyond that. You try to forget it. You don't want to keep thinking back there.
Right.
You want to go forward to the future.
So how did you create your moral compass in raising your kids? Is it just based off of religion? And we're all Christians, but, did that help guide you into how you wanted to raise your children as far as like teaching them right or wrong?
Well, from my mother's perspective, because the first time mother, I want to learn as much as possible. So I was reading a lot of books on different things. And my mother told me, put that book down. You don't need a book to tell you how to raise your child, how to treat your child, whatever. I'm going to show you how to raise a child. I'm going to tell you how to raise a child for me. This is what we did. Of course, I said, well, there's nothing wrong with having multiple means of resources.
Yes.
But that's part of it. And then it's your upbringing, your family. It's your family. It's like from generation to generation. The only thing you can go by how you was raised.
Right.
How my mother raised me, how my grandmother raised me, how my babysitter treated me, how my aunt treated me. So it goes back from generations to generation how our families brought up. You see how your cousins, we all was raised the same way.
Right.
Certain things you're not going to be able to do. And certain things you're going to allow to do. Of course, I did want to give you more freedom because they were a little strict. And I think you probably overcompensated a little bit for
no
that.
Such thing as that.
Yes. But, we had to, when we went outside, we had to sit on the steps couldn't go in front of the door. But you couldn't go to movies on Sundays.
Why not on Sundays?
That's the Lord's day.
Okay? You can't watch the movies?
You can't go to the movies on Sunday. No.
That's not a form of work.
Okay, I'm just telling you.
That was back then.
Okay, you do everything now, Sunday to Sunday.
Yeah.
But you didn't, parties. My mom wasn't as strict as my grandmother per se, but I was allowed to go to parties. But but I knew it was all our love. All they wanted was the best for me. Mm-hmm. So however it may have been presented a little, bad on our part, because then we was restricted from everything. All the other kids could go to the pool. We had to get permission just to go swimming from my grandmother's house. Couldn't walk around the corner. At nighttime, you was in front of that door. When them street lights came up, you was in front of that house. Right. So you took a little bit of that upbringing, which you got, because that discipline was important. They believe in discipline. Right. My mother can speak for that. But they knew the importance of having morals, values, knowing right from wrong. Mm-hmm. And when you leave out this house, you representing this family. Right. So you representing us. So when you go out there, you're going to be on your best behavior. So you take all that and try to give that to your child.
Grandma?
Yeah, you do try to give all that. You try to do the best you can. But then that child has to respond to it themselves and has to want the best for themselves. Right. And they have to want all of this. And that's the thing, the biggest hurdle to get over with a parent is to see their child going the wrong direction and they cannot turn them around. Yeah. That's the worst feeling, because you talk and you try to tell them what to do, but they know more than you do, and they had more experience and all that. And you know what's down the road for them. When they get down that road, you know what's going to happen if they continue the life they're living. Mm-hmm. And that's the hardest thing for a parent. They'll say, well, I'm not going to have anything to do with it. Next thing, you're right in the midst of it. You say, I'm not going to have nothing to do with that no more. Mm-hmm. And then you still, because this is your child and you don't want them to go wrong. And you know the way they're going, it's not going to lead to anything.
So do you give out warnings, or do you just let them experience it all on their own? Do you say, hey, I see where you're leading to? Or do you just say, you just let them just live?
No, I didn't take that route. My mother used to tell us, that's your red wagon, you can push it or pull it. Whichever way you want to go.
That's a word.
Yeah. But sometimes you just keep trying. Yeah. And you don't give up. You say things they don't want to hear, and they'll hurt your feelings, but you say them anyway. At least I do.
Yeah, all the time.
But when I see my children go wrong, I love them too much not to say anything. Yeah. I will tell them they are wrong. Mm-hmm. And you go somewhere and get yourself together. Then you come back and talk to me. Mm-hmm. When you want to have a conversation and do the right thing, okay, we can talk about it. But I cannot just stand by and watch my child go down the wrong road. And no matter what they say or do, I'm going to have to say something. And they may not like what I'm going to say, but I will.
Do you reach a breaking point as a mother where you have to completely take a step back, where you're not giving that advice, where you're not doing as much nurturing because you see them on the wrong path? So do you, just, I guess you can never take a break being a mother, but I'm saying as far as that nurturing and that advice giving and, try to lay down that foundation of understanding what's right and wrong, do you take a step back from that? Or do you just keep trying until you can't anymore?
I'm not going to keep knocking my head into a brick wall. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to do that. So once I said, and, sometimes I can be repetitive, but there's a point when they say, okay, that's it. Yeah. It's called, tough love, let him go, because, after a child reaches a certain age, I think at 15 or 15, that we're legally responsible. Um, like I said before, I'm responsible for feeding you, sheltering you, and clothing you.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is extra. So I'm doing that because that's my um, instinct, motherly instinct. However, as far as giving the advice and see you going down the wrong way, after a while, it's like you have to let go, because you're going to drive yourself crazy.
Mm-hmm.
While the child is doing whatever they want to do, they're going to continue doing whatever, and why should I stress myself out if they're not going to do what we ask them to do? So, yeah, you do have to let go sometimes, so you drive yourself crazy.
And also we have to learn, when to let go. And people have their own minds, even they may be children or young people, they have their mind made up to what they're going to do. And you can't change that.
Mm-hmm.
And you will drive yourself crazy trying to change it. You can't change that person into something they don't want to be. And you don't want to see it. But I've seen parents who have done everything for their children, gone broke, buying them things, getting them out of jail, doing all this kind of stuff. And still, the child has not changed.
Yeah.
The parent is the one who has to change. They need to change. They don't realize it. But you need to change and say, well, look, if this is the way they want to go, it's nothing I can do about it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't change this. So we need to know the things we can change and change the things that we can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know how can I put this, but let's say if they reach back out to you and they've changed, how do you make amends? If you already, let's say you took some time apart, you let this person, figure out what they need to figure out, and they're coming back asking for help. Or, do you extend that? Or do you say, because, certain things can get really bad and certain people reach a breaking point. So, do you let them back in? Do you, when they're trying to do better, you see that they're trying to do better, do you let them back in?
Well, it's the difference between someone on the street doing that and your child.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I have a forgiving spirit. I do believe in forgiveness. So if it's sincere,
Mm-hmm.
I do believe. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm allow you to just walk all over me.
Right.
But you have to understand the situation as it is, understand people for who they are. And I would never totally turn my back on my child if they were in need and was sincere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would reach out, but now it might be some boundaries. There may be some,
Right.
some limits to how we work this out again, because we wouldn't want the same thing to repeat.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I couldn't see, it had to be really, 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 really bad for me just to totally turn my back on my child.
Grandma?
I think I could totally turn my back when I see that it's not doing the child any good or me.
Mm.
They are not willing to do what they need to do to change. They want to use you.
Mm-hmm.
And parents have been used, because I've been used
Mm-hmm.
lots of times. I don't mean with Lisa.
I ain't say anything.
But you get your limit and you say, I'm letting you go the way you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
But don't come back here looking for me to do anything for you. You go on your own. You live your own life the way you want to live it.
Mm-hmm.
Period. And this is release for you, a parent also.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to do, but sometimes for the good of yourself and that child, you need to do it. Because as long as they could use you, they're going to do it.
So you believe sometimes severing ties is a good thing, even if that's...
Yes, it is. And I just say no, because I've had times when I have locked my door
Mm-hmm.
on one of my children
Mm-hmm.
because I wasn't doing him any good or me either.
Mm-hmm.
I said, no, I'm not opening the door. I'm not going to let you stay here tonight. I'm not going to do this. You're going to have to suffer the consequences of your behavior. I don't need to suffer the consequences. I done suffered enough.
Right.
By the way you turned out, you know, and I'm not going to suffer for anyone else's consequences.
Mm.
You have to suffer your own consequences. When you make your bed in it, you have to lie in it. And then I think the child will start to respond and turn another way. But as long as you keep helping them in
enabling them,
they're not going to change. They're going to keep on doing the same thing over and over again. And you're going to bore somebody to death and make them mad by talking about it. They don't want to hear you telling the same story over and over again.
Yeah. No. Absolutely.
And you soon you lose all your friends because they know what you're going to talk about as soon as they see it. Here she going to talk about that wayward child she got again. Please. And no one wants to hear it.
Yeah.
And you don't even want to hear it yourself. But no, you have to. There's a breaking point, and you have to do it for yourself and for your child. Now, if they don't turn out okay, as my mother says, you're a red wagon. You can push it or pull it, whatever you want to do.
That's on you.
That's on you.
Mm-hmm.
I done did all I can.
Yeah.
I fed you, clothed you, sent you to school, did all of this, and what do I have to show for it? Nothing.
Yeah. So
you it's your life. You go on and you run it the way you want to run it. And I feel sorry for some parents who, they're saying, well, what can I do? He did this and he did that. Please don't come to me with that kind of attitude. He did nothing wrong what you let him do.
Yeah.
You spend all your money. You get him out of jail. You spend all your money to help him get an apartment, to help him do this, and things remain the same.
Yeah. They're not becoming better.
No. All it's doing for you is just wearing you down. Mm. And parents have to realize sometimes they have to learn to let go. Whatever the consequences this child going to suffer, it's on them. Mm. You don't want to see it, but there's nothing you can do about it.
So, we live in a crazy world. And unfortunately, times have changed since grandmom had my mom. But how do you think you can protect your child in a world that's so sadistic and, so evil? What were the ways that you try to protect your kids?
I really don't see the world as so evil. I see evil people in it. Mm. But I don't see the world as being evil. I think this world is good. I really do.
Do you just think the people are corrupt?
I think the people, there's evil people in the world.
But how do you protect your kids from evil people?
Well, for one thing, you have to have control of who your children are playing with or seeing. Mm-hmm. So I used to tell Lisa sometimes, I don't want you messing with that girl or going around with that person. Mm-hmm. So you try to protect your children from that type of environment. Mm-hmm. But then, too, the child have to be the way to listen to you also. That, no, you can't hang with so-and-so. I didn't allow my children to be around certain other children. Not that they were any better, but I didn't want them to get any worse either. So I didn't want to get any worse. So, I try to get them around the good people so they can improve.
So it can rub off.
Yeah. So, but I never, certain people that I want my children around, even people in my own family. Mm-hmm. Certain people I didn't want my children around because I didn't want them to be influenced like that.
Mm-hmm. What about your mom?
I totally agree. Your environment. And then even with that, there's nothing 100% guaranteed because, like she said, it's just so many situations. You got the TV, you got the videos, you got the music. there's so many influences out here, and it's really scary to be raising a child today, I would say, because um, now you don't even have to see another child. You can be on social media. You know, you got all these tools that the child has access to, and you got to watch that. I would definitely like. My nephew has his iPad. We had to put restrictions on that because we found things popping up that he shouldn't be looking at. Like, why did I get on there? Where did that come from? You know, so, and then you got these predators out here, you know, on children, not just wanting children, but, you know, people who, with the music industry, the television. I have a strong passion against these violent videos. I know videos is the latest greatest thing,
it's horrible.
It's crazy. I'm like,
I just saw a man who got hit on the light rail, and I just saw the whole thing happen from beginning to end. His body was sliced in half, and I can see that. You know, and if I can see that, then a little 10-year-old can see that too, or a little 8-year-old can see that too.
This was on video?
Yeah, it happened yesterday.
Huh?
It happened yesterday.
And then it was on video?
Yes.
I can see video.
Yeah, they saw a man walking on the train, and you saw the results. His body was cut in half, and you see people
and you saw
filming
this on
it.
What?
Facebook.
Oh, see. Yeah, see, it's that, and then I'm talking about the games. The games is so
absolutely
vicious. And even though they said, oh, it's for a mature audience, or whatever, hey, get these games.
Yeah.
You know, I really have, I wish, you know, I know it's freedom of speech and all that, but parents have to stick together. That's the only way we're going to be, like, it takes a village.
Yeah.
Because and say, hey, we're not going to have this in our schools. We're not going to have this in our homes, because it's just too much. And those things, you know, get in the child's psyche. I know it's just a game. Or it's just a song. It's just a movie. But after over and over this repetitiveness of all this
subconsciously
violence,
yeah,
now you wonder, oh, the world's so violent. Well, I wonder why. You know, so it's really hard, but you have to protect your child in all means now. It's just not, you know, playing with the kid down the street. Now you don't even have to see the kid down the street, and they communicating through Facebook, Twitter, live chat, whatever, Snapchat. I know that's what I meant to say, but all that stuff. So you just have to be really, really careful these days.
Do you think having a community, because I know you growing up, you know, you were close with your neighbors, you know, they were like family, and it seems like nowadays we don't even know who our neighbors are. So do you think that if we become more communal, you know, do you think that will help with parenting?
Oh, most definitely. Especially with the right type of communal.
I was going
to say. It depends on, like minds.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah, it depends on who they are and what their standards are. There's some people who don't have any morals, and their kids, consequently, they don't have any morals either. So, a little story, I think I told Lisa this story. The little boy was out there playing in the street, and he's about 3 or 4 years old, but a car, you know, the cars kept coming, and they kept dodging him, and I said, look, you got to get out the street. I went out there and pulled him out of the street. And he went back again. I said, no, you have to get out of the street because you don't get hit by a car. He turned around. You shut the fuck up.
Oh.
You know what he meant. I said, you can't even say the word. But you going to tell me, shut the fuck up.
Oh.
He about 3 or 4 years old. But this is the way children are being raised today.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. And I tell you what, you better get your behind on that pavement and stay there. If I look down the street and see you out there, I'm going to come and tear your behind up. He stayed on the pavement. He was out there by himself.
Yeah, nobody's there.
Nobody's there. And he out there playing in the street trying to get hit.
Yeah.
And going to tell me how to shut up.
How do you think we lost the disconnect of being communal? Because even my age, I was very close to, when I lived in Philly, I was really close to my neighbors. And that was very
Baltimore.
Not really.
You were.
I mean, but people move. But I'm saying when the new people came, it's not like that same bond was there. But I'm saying, back in Philly,
Yeah.
I knew all the kids.
Yeah.
I knew all the parents. So if something did happen to me, if I was to get hurt at someone else's house and someone else saw it, it's not like they couldn't reprimand or they couldn't, tell you, or you know what I mean. So how did we lose that? I don't even know, like, what happened. Is it technology? Is it?
I think that's part of it. And then every so busy. You got these young mothers. You meet before mothers and grandmothers, and we look like mothers and grandmothers, great grandmothers. Now everybody's at the club.
Yeah.
Is I think we lost it with from generation to generation. This I understand it's getting younger. Everybody, the mothers working and the working all the time and trying to live your life,
Mm-hmm.
and it drove a disconnect in your adulthood, because that's how the kids came together too, because the parents, they knew each other, say, oh, I'm invite mine, can such and such come over, whatever, play whatever. And I think we lost that connection in the adult community.
Right.
And then the kids, now they don't go outside. You took away recess,
Yeah.
So now they not used to playing outside. I mean, you see some kids outside, but a lot of kids, they on the videos.
Yeah.
So
they have no sense of social skills either.
No.
Yeah, it's really sad.
We play jacks, hopscotch.
Yeah.
Red
I haven't seen kids play that game in so long.
Any kind of game.
I don't even see kids playing tag or hide and seek, freeze.
That's a game you play together.
Yeah.
There's no togetherness there. You can form anything. It's. I feel sorry for parents nowadays who are raising children, because
it's hard.
Yeah, because they have to compete with that machine, that TV was putting a lot of stuff in their minds.
Yeah.
And then the parents have to be example too. They have to set the example. If you want your child to be a certain way, you have to set the example.
Yeah.
You want your child to read, you want to be smart, and you better go get a book and let them see you reading.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
If you want them to go to school, let them see you going to school.
Absolutely.
They need to set better examples for their children. But our generation now, especially the women, when all they can do is get up a TV and talk about their makeup and shaking their behinds and all that. And I look at that, I said, now what do their children think of all that?
Mm.
What do they think? And then when they send them to school, they're misbehaving. Or instead of taking that child home, whipping his behind, they come to the school want to whip your behind.
Right.
It's just the way things are, just topsy-turvy.
Yeah.
Things are just not the way they should be. And you need to be an example for your children. That's the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be out there doing things that you're telling your child not to do.
Absolutely.
You have to be that example, and you have to walk that way. They don't have to see everything you're doing and know everything you're doing, but they understand what you're saying. And I'm glad I don't have no children to raise now.
Yeah, me too. It's a tough world out there.
It is. And do you think it's the age gap? With these young mothers who are, these kids are cursing and the music that they listen to, do you think is anything to do with how young they are? Because I see a lot of young mothers and they're trying to be the child's best friend and they're not really parenting. And then I see them talking to their mother as if they're homegirls. So do you think it's societal, or do you think it's because these women or girls are having children at such a young age?
I think it's both. I really think it's both. And they're trying to regain something they have lost. They're no longer young girls. They're mothers now.
Right.
And they don't seem to want to take that role as being a mother. But I wouldn't say it's it's because I think it's because of the times of what we have made acceptable or unacceptable.
Mm.
You know, there was a time when there's certain things you did not do because you know your parents disagreed with it. You didn't do those things.
Right.
But now everything's acceptable.
Yeah.
Everything.
Everything.
And I think that's the age we live in. Everything's acceptable. So you got your kids you're trying to raise, and it's hard to raise a child when everybody else is doing things that they want to do, and you're the only one standing there saying no, you're not going to do that. But a parent if you love your children, you will do that.
Right.
You're not going to stand there and just watch your children go down the drain.
Yeah. So do you believe that when you do have a child, they are in front of your own personal needs? You know, are you sacrificing who you are as an individual? Do you sacrifice that for your child? Do y'all believe in that?
Well, hindsight is 2020. So initially, of course, you feel you need to do that. And I believe there is a sacrifice because you are appointed to raise this child. Mm-hmm. That is your responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
That is your priority. Now, how far that sacrifice goes, because I've seen situations where people sacrifice their whole life. Mm-hmm. They gave up their careers, didn't go to school. Now, mind you, the child has grown, they're taking them to all the basketball, the football, everything, gymnastics, which I did.
Yes.
However, at the same time, you still have a life.
Yeah.
Because that child's going to grow up, go off, and live their own life. Mm-hmm. And you have a life to live after that. So somewhere you have to draw the line where, yes, I'm going to do everything I can for my child. Mm-hmm. At the same time, I got to make sure I can sustain what is expected for me. I have to live after this child grows up. So now, once I made all this sacrifice and there was no guarantee the child's going to be successful or not, you hope and pray they do, but it's no guarantee. Mm-hmm. And now, whether they do or not, now, what are you left with? Right. So now, I gave my career up, my education, my social life, everything. Now what? Yeah. So...
How do you know when to create that balance? Is it a certain age, or you try to do it like when they're able to to take care of themselves a little bit? Like, when do you know when it's time to create that balance where you're still able to be a mom, but you have a little me time?
Well, I think that's an individual call. Because first, every child is different. Mm-hmm. So every child, some children require more attention than others. Some children are more responsible than others. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't care, 5 years old, child can't be by itself. Okay, I don't care how mature the child is. 5,
you can't do anything.
Right. Right. But now when you get in the adolescent stages and, they have to be able to be self-sufficient now. They know how to wash, feed themselves, whatever. Mm-hmm. But I think it's an individual call. Of course, you cannot commit a crime and leave a child by itself, at certain ages. However, I think that when that's a hard question to just have a straight answer, right? Because there's a lot of variables there. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you have your network, your resources that you can depending on how much of help you have. Because if you have someone that can, got the kids for the weekend, mm-hmm. I have to find some outlet somewhere. Mm-hmm. If you can. Some people don't have that choice, so you may have to hold on a little bit longer. Right. But you got to find what makes it work for you.
So out of all the lessons of life, what is the one thing you wanted your child to know the most?
I'll let you answer that, Mom.
I think I would want my child to know I love them. I want the best thing in life for them. Mm-hmm. I'm telling them the truth about life. I'm doing everything to make you into that person that I want you to be. You're not out there alone trying to do it. Mm-hmm. And I really feel that a mother shouldn't be so tired in her child that she doesn't have a life of her own.
Mm.
And we have lost one of our greatest advantages, the black church, and praying for our children.
Mm.
We talk more about what our children is doing, but we don't talk to God about those children.
Mm.
We don't pray anymore for our children. Children are taught to eat food. They don't even say grace. They don't say that.
Yeah.
They don't. They act as though there's no God there any place
Mm-hmm.
in their lives. So I think the parent themselves have to bring that back into their lives.
Hmm.
And start, the child going wrong, they ain't doing right, throwing away your money, you trying to help them, they ain't accepting it, they doing all the wrong things. But then where else do you go?
Right.
You don't have but one other place to go, and that's to start praying for them.
Yeah. Put it in God's hands.
I pray for my children all the time.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. That's why they still here making it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
We appreciate it because we need it.
Yeah. But I pray, but there's some people just nowadays they teach their kids there's no God. We got here all kind of ways and all this crazy stuff they're teaching their children, and they're taking it in. They're just out there. They just came about.
Mm-hmm.
And you talk about children going to Sunday school, going to church. Oh no, I'm to my children there. So, okay, you do what you want, but your mind going. They're taking it behind out of here and go to church. I ain't standing for that. But I think all those things you mix together is not just one formula you can use and say, this is it. You have to mix it all together.
What about you, Mom?
I agree definitely that that you love them.
Mm-hmm.
The love is very powerful because that in itself brings understanding, wisdom, obedience, because you have that love for the child. You have to have self-love.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure they love themselves as well. And as Mom said, that God is love.
Mm-hmm.
Love them, know that God loves you. So now that makes, when you know you're a child of God, that you can do anything possible. And nothing can come against you to harm you. They can attempt, but you know that you have a higher being that's protect you. And if you live your life that way, and which is not always the easy thing to do, because you deal with a lot of things in life and a lot of obstacles come your way. But when you realize that and you always revert back to that,
Mm-hmm.
then you don't allow certain things, you don't allow to come in your path, you don't allow things to happen, situations you can avoid, because now I think more of myself.
Right.
I think that when challenges come, I can overcome this.
Mm-hmm.
So knowing that you're loved by your parents and that God loves you, I think that's one of the things.
So one more thing. I don't know. I'll go last. But name one of your favorite memories that you have of your child.
Oh, wow. I'll let you go first, Mom.
Naturally.
It's a lot of memories.
Yeah, I think that I felt very proud, really, really proud of Lisa when she had gone into the reserve and how she wanted to go in there and didn't weigh enough and she was too skinny to go.
Okay.
And she really wanted to go, and she finally didn't make it. She gained no pounds.
And then she those biscuits.
Yeah. And then
homemade biscuits.
She won when she graduated. We went to that graduation, and I didn't agree with her going into the military. I really didn't. But this is what she wanted, so I let her go on and seek her own thing. But when we saw her out there on that field, and they were putting on the thing and all, I felt so proud of her.
Mm.
Wow.
She had made it. It was something she had accomplished. I know it wasn't easy because she used to come home and complain about how the guys treated her and how they made her carry the big duffel bags and all that kind of stuff. But she made it there. And in fact, the whole street where we lived, they were proud of her because they put banners outside their houses and talk about, welcome home, Lisa. Yeah, they welcome home, Lisa. And they had this big cake for her. Everybody was celebrating it.
It was my 21st birthday, too.
Yeah, but everybody felt so proud.
I bet. It was lit.
But we felt so proud of her. And the whole street felt the same way.
Yeah, they were there too.
Yeah, they were there at the house party with her,
House party.
Yeah, and they bought cake, and then they came there to congratulate and decorate the front of the house. Welcome home, soldier.
Right out of boot camp.
Yeah,
AIT.
Yeah, but they made her feel so good about herself because they felt good about themselves too, and what was going on. That was a time I really, really felt proud of her.
Oh,
that's good.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there are things you don't know.
I know. You had this show for a long time.
But and that's where you have to really show your children that you are proud of them. Now, not all of them gonna make you happy, but Lord, you just take that little bit of
take what you can get.
You take what you can get, and you use that, and And I felt proud of Rita when she would be up there singing in church, And I remember one time she was singing "Jesus Loves Me." Everybody know that song, but it was like she was the only one up that knew how to sing it. And the people in church say, "Yeah, we know that's your granddaughter." I said, "Yes, that's my granddaughter up there." But there are certain times when you do feel very proud of your children. I think, and you should let your children know this was thing. Just like they know what make you sad, they should know what make you proud too.
Absolutely.
So I have a lot of memories. But I guess I'm going to mention two.
Okay.
That one of the proudest moments was when Sarita had me go to UB Blake. Was it UB Blake?
What, for the audition? For Berkeley?
Audition, for Berkeley.
Yeah.
And she told me about this school. I never even heard. The only Berkeley I heard of was in California.
UC.
So, and she made a decision. She used to dance.
Yep.
She was a very good dancer, but she sang as well. And definitely made me proud. Well, let me say one more. When I first knew she could sing is when she played Annie.
It was fifth grade.
Fifth grade.
Mm-hmm. At Violence Elementary.
She came to me. She said, your daughter had me in tears. I said, well, what happened now? And she said, no, she sang. She auditioned for Annie. I couldn't believe this child sung like this. I said, you talking about my daughter? I said, Sarita? She said, yes. She said, oh my God, she touched all of us. I'm like, really? Ree sang. She sang since she was 2. But, she was just singing. She had lessons, but I never knew she had an impact on people like that. So that's when I knew she had it. And she did Annie. She played the role, sang the song. Great. So she started her singing career, but at the same time, she wanted to dance. So she was dancing and singing. And when she met one of her producers, or one of her mentors. And it was really good. They had their battles, but he was good with her.
Yes.
And told her this is how to sing, whatever. But he said, look, you're going to have to make a decision. Either you're going to go all the way in and do this music thing, or do your lawyer, your biology, your marine biology, all this other stuff you want to do. Just go ahead and do that. So she made a decision. She said, you know what? I want to sing. So she made that commitment. And ever since that time, this is 10th, 11th grade, she said she wants to go to a performing arts school. Of course, she was looking all around, so she found Berkeley. And they were having an audition. And she said, Ma, I got to go to this audition. I said, for what? You know, we go in Berkeley, it's in Boston. I said, I never even heard of this school. But she went down there and killed it. Okay. But we knew Berkeley was an elite school. They only accept certain individuals. It was last minute because we was behind on all the, you know, even we was the last ones to audition, almost the last phase.
Yep.
And she was like, I know I'm probably not going to get it. You know, she was an okay student, grade wise. So we didn't have that like running for us, but we know. So when we got the letter and said that she was accepted, she cried and cried.
I did.
And cried. We cried and cried and cried. I couldn't believe it. She screamed and yelled and hollered. That was definitely a fine
We
moment.
just sat on the floor and cried. We both cried and we sat on the floor.
About that bill, the tuition. And I started crying some more. She did get a partial scholarship, and that was great. The other fond memory is when we went on a cruise.
Oh, God.
Was only, just before she went to Berkeley.
Yeah, this is part of my graduation gift.
That was a graduation gift. We went to Bahamas somewhere, but they have the bands on the.
It was a 7-day cruise
on the ship, and then, you know, they have the live bands and whatever. And they had this lady. She was singing. She was okay.
She was trash.
So they had a jam session. That night they just had people who have an open mic. It was like open mic.
Yeah.
So, you know, we went up and sang and all, you know. I wasn't even there. I think you went down. I wasn't even there at that time. And she came back and said, "Oh, they want me to sing with them tomorrow." I said, "Tomorrow?" I said, "Yeah, they playing in such and such a room and they want me to sing with them." I'm like, "Okay." So we told everybody, we're going to sing with the band. We said, "Wow." What did that come about? And, you know,
I did not work for Carnival, by the way. That was just very impromptu.
That's what I was getting ready to say now. Okay, we getting a contract or something? So when we went that night and she did Jill Scott, oh my God, we were all crying. I have never heard her sing that song like that since. I don't know what happened. I mean,
I think somebody slipped me some tequila.
Yeah, I heard it.
She did the what you call it, the
what?
After the song.
The scatting?
The scatting. Oh my goodness.
You know, it's funny, I never even scattered before. I don't know what came over me. I just was like I was in a space.
Yeah, she was in a big space. That was a very fine moment, and we were very, very proud of you.
Thank you.
Now, I want to ask you a question.
Yes.
When you see your child going the wrong way, what do you do to turn this child around? You know they're going the wrong way, and they're just adamant about going that way.
I think it depends on the child, like the personality, because beating someone and giving them tough love, everyone isn't receptive to that. So you have to, you know, as Jordan would say, you have to know your personnel, and you have to know how to be able to communicate with that child. You know, so I was a child who needed structure and discipline, but some children, that doesn't work for them. So it just depends on the child's personality. And then you just ask them questions on why do they feel this way or why do they want to go this way, to kind of help understand the psychology behind the decision making. And sometimes when you talk things through with people to help them realize what they're actually doing, it helps them realize that I'm being really stupid. And it's not even just you chastising them. It's just you talking to them and saying, why do you want to live this life? What about this life do you think is good for you? And when you ask those thought-provoking questions, sometimes it might not be in that moment, but when you self-reflect, you think about those questions and you really sit and think and say, you know what, I don't know. At the moment, it might be cool or a trend or peer pressure or mental illness. It can be a combination of a lot of things. But especially when you reach a certain age, like at 15, it's really hard to express and say, I'm angry because I don't have my dad around. You really can't really verbalize that. You can feel it. You can feel emptiness. You can feel neglect. But it's really hard to talk about things and you're not fully developed or mature to be able to communicate the way you want to. And so sometimes you go the wrong way and then you realize in your older age that, hey, you can finally have a real conversation. You can say to your parent, I apologize for being this way, but I want you to know I was that way because of these reasons. And I think a lot of times, especially depending on the age, it's really hard to verbalize the trauma or the hurt that they have experienced, because obviously something is going wrong. Nobody just wakes up and say, hey, today I just want to mess up my whole entire life. You know, there's other factors that come into play with that. And so I think when you ask those type of questions that do provoke a thought where they have to actually sit and wonder why, and it's not just because I want to, you know, when you really start getting into the meat and potatoes of what's going on, it will help them also realize that there's something wrong here. So, you know.
And that, I have seen parents who have made themselves poor,
Yeah.
have gone into poor health. They have lost friends because they're so tied up in trying to help this child who don't seem to want to do anything but what they're doing. And the only one that's suffering is the parents.
Yeah. But I do agree with you about breaking ties. I don't disagree with that statement. I do think that people do have a breaking point, and sometimes it's not even just to save the child. Sometimes it's to save yourself, because both people might be going out, your child going crazy and you going crazy. You know, nobody's benefiting from this relationship. So it might not be forever, but even just a temporary, you know, let me just move away, let's pull away, let's break away, and then we can come together stronger. You know, me and my mom, I love her to death. We had some ups and downs, but it wasn't until college where we really started to have great communication skills. And that time away, we were able to build a stronger bond. And sometimes separation is key to be able to see what you're missing out on. Sometimes when you feel oversaturated and you know, you got two strong personalities going back and forth, but then when you step away from that and you don't have that person to call on, or that person to just, you have the luxury of having access to them, then you start to really appreciate what you had. And so I think sometimes separation is the best thing to do, because it allows both parties to kind of analyze what was happening, and then you can have real conversation or apologize or find ways to move forward in the future.
You ever think it's necessary for a parent to cut loose? Just say, I'm not going to have anything to do with this child anymore.
If you feel that way, yes. If you're in the mental space where you feel overwhelmed, I do believe that. Although I don't have.
I feel like if it's gotten the point that it's that bad that you really feel like you need to cut loose, then I'm more so thinking that, man, I created this, so I got a responsibility to society. Like we gotta figure this out.
No, because like you said, you train your child, you do everything you could, you sacrifice blood, sweat, and tears. What else can I do for you? There's nothing else I can do for you. I can give you a phone number to a therapist. If you on drugs, I can tell you, can try to put you into rehab. Anything else? I'm not a superhero. So at what level or capacity can I give you? It's not, I gave you everything. You want my whole soul? That's supposed to go to Jesus.
Being a parent is putting on the mantle. You are a superhero. Like, it's so much you have to do that you go above and beyond what's expected, what's the call of duty. And I just know myself that, I'll probably just crumble away to the point of a self-sacrifice that I would do for my kid, especially if it's my kid. Because I know I got some strong genes, so I'm going to be looking at myself out here in this world doing wrong. No.
But we have
it'll be very tough. Even though I do agree that a lot of stuff can be accomplished with giving your kids space with, varying circumstances. That's good. But at some point, yeah, for sure, I think you got to come back together and try to figure it out. I mean, everyone's their own adult.
If you can.
If you can.
If
But
you
I've
can.
seen situations where I have to give people counseling with their kids, and these are grown kids.
Yeah.
And they come back to me time and time again. Same problem, the kid doing the same thing. They doing it. It's just a total repeat all the time. And I keep saying, as long as you keep doing what you're doing, they're going to be doing what they're doing. Cut them loose. Oh, no, I can't do my son like that. I love my son. If you love your son that much, then you would cut him loose. That's my theory. But there's some people think, well, you're supposed to go through hell and back again for this kid who's not going to do any better. Some of them not going to do any better. Some of them not going to get off the drugs.
They're not going to change.
The things they're doing, if I could have a magic wand to wave over them, I would do that. But sometimes you get to the point, what can I do? And then the parents start to blame themselves.
Yeah, I don't believe in blame yourselves like that. You do what you have the capacity to do. You always do your best, and like you said, there's some cases that are extreme that they're not going to change, not going to be able to make the changes. So I do believe in and live in your life at that point. But you do what you have the capacity to do. Like if you can take a little bit more, then do what you can. That's all.
I'm not going to.
So what?
I'm not going to crumble up, though.
Yeah.
No, I don't think.
I'm not going to do that.
And I'm not going to spend my last dime on you.
Yeah.
Be in the poorhouse.
Right.
Yeah, but there are parents who do this.
That's true.
Yeah. And
No, you got to be able to live. If you can no longer sustain yourself, then that's not a good way of living.
And then they tell me, "Oh, Bright, I couldn't do that to my son." Well, he's doing it to you.
Exactly. You're right.
You know,
he's sucking out all your life energy.
You know, come back when you make up your mind what you want to do. Because I don't have no answer for you.
Right.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a tough situation. I pray I'm not going to be in that situation, but you never know.
Yeah,
it's all about, it's unpredictable. But to end on a positive note, I want to give my 2 favorite memories. One with my grandmother. She's a Methodist pastor, and she was in upstate Pennsylvania. It's this place called Hellertown. How old was I? I was about 3 or 4. And I remember her neighbor just put down this fresh cement. I've never seen fresh cement before, so it blew my mind. And it was this little boy. His name was Apple Story. Yes, he was white, but that was my friend. He was my best friend, and we decided to walk all up and through this wet cement. Now, mind you, we were about to go back to Philly. My stuff was packed. We were supposed to go. I was washed. I was clean. And so I remember talking to Apple Story, and I was like, it's wet. We can make handprints, and it'll be in there forever. And that's exactly what we did. And I came back so dirty. And when my grandfather saw me, oh, he was pissed. Oh, he was so angry. And my grandmother could do nothing but laugh. And
he was ready to go.
He was so ready to go. And Grandma was like, well, we got to wash her. We can't put her in a car with cement all over her body. And, I had to walk over there. Grandma held my hand. We walked over to Apple Story's parents' house, and I had to apologize to his dad. And his dad was very angry as well.
Yeah, it was a mad white man. He went in that Jeep and threw dirt all in the Jeep, messed up the cement on the outside. That was a mad white man.
And I was in so much trouble, but it was just funny because the look on her face, I just remember it. And my grandfather literally just over me. And my grandmother just looked at me and just bust out laughing. At the point, there's nothing that we could do. But and I just remember walking in her heels. I loved her jewelry, and I love walking in her high heels. And when my great grandmother was alive, it was funny because they used to call me Muffin, and she said, "Muffin, you need to get out those shoes." And I would just slide, and I'd just be sliding across the living room floor. And I remember one time my grandmother came from somewhere, and my great-grandmother, she was supposed to drink like these boosts, for nutrients. And so my great-grandmother would like pawn them off to me to kind of drink it so she wouldn't get in trouble from my grandma because she didn't take her intake. So I remember I got in trouble because not only did I have grandma's pearls on, I had her heels on, I had tried to get into one of her robes, I had a boost in my hand. And she said, what are you doing with this? This goes to your great grandmother. And naturally I'm not a snitch. And I had just naturally, but I had to because I was like, I'm not getting in trouble for this because I didn't even want it. My great grandmother told me to get it. So there's so many memories in the house and just, those people, the atmosphere. I mean, I can go on and on and on. Grandma still has the necklace I gave her when I was 2? What was it?
Yeah, she bought it with her own money's 14-karat gold cross.
Yes, I did.
That Riri bought.
Yeah,
yes, with my own money.
2 years old.
Yeah.
Well, it was real gold. I mean, I'm 28 now, so
Yes.
so then she's still wearing it to this day. And for my mom, I think my most proudest moment is when you retired. I think I can't put your age out there, but she retired at a very young age. Younger than what the state allows. I'll say that.
It was an early out.
Yeah, she was an early out.
Yes.
And I learned so many things about her because I don't see her in that capacity. The way people talked about her and all these accolades, that was one thing. But I think what really made me proud is that she made a goal and she stuck with it. And I think even with me, even in this moment, work your plan. Because I heard she was talking, she said, I'm going to retire early, I'm going to retire early, I'm going to retire early. And I was like, okay. And then when she actually did it, and she says, I'm done. At that moment, I was like, wow, you really can do anything you put your mind to. You really, if you put the work in, you put your time in, you sacrifice whatever you need to sacrifice, whatever you want to accomplish, if you just have that goal in mind, you can do it. So thank you for that. Because, so many people say so many things, especially about early retirement. All the old people want to retire early. But, they don't have the luxury of doing that. And she retired and she has a thriving business, so it really put things in perspective for me because it's like, I can be an entrepreneur. My mom did it. So why can't I do it? And so I think it's really important what my grandmother said is to show your kids how you want them to be. Because when you create accomplishments for yourself, it will inspire them. You might not think it inspires them, but we're watching, and we're listening. And when we see that you're able to achieve your goals, it inspires us to say that we can achieve ours. So I want to thank y'all for joining me. I know y'all were scared.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Grandma. My grandmother lives in Philly, so this actually means a lot to me. And I want to especially send my love to my great-grandmothers who unfortunately are not here with us, but I know they're watching over us, and that is Eunice and Ethel, who were major influences in my life as well. So happy Mother's Day. We love you. I know you're shining down on us, and thank you for your love and your wisdom to help us be the women that we are today. So thank you, and this is Bitch Let's Talk. If you can't get enough of Bitch Let's Talk, you can always follow us on IG and Facebook at BLT Podcast and on Twitter at Bitch Let's Talk. If you want more content and updates on the show, you can always go to our website, bltpodcast.com.